let's make a clay wall pocket creature. So this one I've already done, and you can see we're going to be making some texture on our wall pocket monster, whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to set this finished one aside and show you how I did it. So the first thing we're going to do is choose a fabric to use the texture for. So I want you to look through the fabrics and choose one that you think you like the pattern or design, because that design is going to turn into some texture. So I think this time I'm going to use this one. And with your clay, you're going to want to try to flatten it a little bit between your hands. And then kind of get the edges a little more so that it's an oval shape. We eventually want it to be as big as these paper templates. Now you can see on the finished example, I used a rectangle. So I think for this one, I'm going to use the one with a rounded top. So once you get it fairly thick, then you're going to use the palm of your hand to try to get it flatter on the fabric. If you want to try to use this to help you roll it out, you can. Otherwise, you can just use the palm of your hand to keep getting it flat. Once in a while, take your template and see if it's big enough, and it's not quite big enough on mine. It's almost like I'm doing CPR. Now we want these to be thin, but not like really, really thin, where it's like paper thin, because if it's paper thin, it's just gonna break. Okay, so let me check my template. Looks like yes, that's gonna fit. Might be a little bit too thick. I'm gonna get it just a little bit thinner. All right, check it again. That looks pretty good. So here I'm going to flip it over and reveal the texture by taking off my fabric. Check that out. How cool is that? Now we have to be really careful not to smush this out. So I'm going to take my template, set it into place. I don't want to push too hard because then it's going to get stuck. So now I'm going to take a wooden tool and with it straight up and down like a soldier, cut out the clay. I'm pushing all the way down so that I'm cutting the clay around my template. Once in a while, you might have to take some pieces off. Almost done, just got the bottom edge. And there we go. So carefully taking this off, hopefully. If you didn't press too hard with your paper, you should still have that nice texture. Now it's going to be a little bit jagged around the outside. So we're going to take care of that right now with a tiny bit of water on your finger. You're going to smooth those edges. And the reason we're doing this is when clay dries, it gets really hard. And those edges that you cut sometimes get really, really sharp if we don't take this extra step to smooth it out right now. So again, I'm going to do it on the back side. This part goes really fast. There we go, and I'm done. Okay, now we're going to create the pocket for our monster wall creature. So this is where you could put something inside later on when it's hanging up. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a toothbrush that's a little bit wet, and we're going to score. Score means we're scratching into our clay, kind of roughing it up, and notice how I'm doing it just at the bottom edge, the edge that has the corners. Do the same thing right on the other side. And then I'm going to fold it up so that those scratched up corners, edges meet, and then I can pinch the sides and kind of smooth out the sides so that they're nice and stuck. And it creates, see, creates a pocket. Okay, now from here out, we get to be pretty creative. On the one that I made before, you can see I added a little tongue, and then my teeth are a little more pointy, so you can do that. I think for the example I'm showing you, I'm just going to do a couple of teeth. So you should have a lot of extra clay that you cut off. So take some of that, and what I'm going to do is roll that clay into something called a coil. And then I'm going to kind of flatten it just a little bit. And then using like a popsicle stick or a knife, I'm going to cut into my teeth shapes. Okay. Now, whenever we attach things, just like we did before with the toothbrush, we're going to have to score it with a toothbrush. So I'm scoring where it's going to be attached, and then I'm also going to make those scratch marks and add a little bit of water with the toothbrush right where it's going to be attached. Okay, so it's going to go right here. I'm going to push it and kind of wiggle it around a little bit. Maybe have to reshape it a little bit. That's fine. Okay. I just got one tooth on there. The options are totally up to you about how you do this, but I think I'm going to go ahead and add a few more teeth to mine. Remembering to slip and score every time. Okay, so I think I'm going to do a traditional two-eyed monster, but if you want to do a cyclops or maybe 3 eyes, that's totally up to you. So I'm taking some clay and rolling a ball of clay, and then I'm going to set that kind of where I want it to go, get a little more extra clay. I think it'd be funny if one eye is a little bit bigger than the other one. So I want one ball to be a little bit bigger. Now these need to be a little bit more squished. So I'm going to squish this one in my fingers so it's a little more like a pancake. Same thing with the other one. Okay, and to attach these, I need to slip and score just like I did with the teeth. So I'm going to press this one into place and then do the other one. Oh, gotta score it where it's gonna go here. Press into place. And then I'm gonna make some smaller balls to go on the inside of those eyes. Slip and score. And I'm gonna smush it down. There we go. Push it down, and then taking a tool, I can kind of poke the pupil part of the eye. If you want to add a nose, that's totally up to you. Now from here you get to add some kind of fun details. So I'm going to add, you can either add some eyebrows by making some coils and attaching them like that, or maybe they're angry. Maybe it's kind of sad. Or on my finished one, you can see I made some eyelashes and added a little wart and some more texture. But I think on this one, I'm gonna add some like eyelids to make him look a little bit, I don't know, drowsy. So here's how I did that. I took a ball of clay, smushed it down flat, and then cut it in half. And then to attach it, do the same thing with this other piece. And there we go, kind of fun. Now your teacher later will poke the holes for how these will hang up.